Hey advocates, I'm Danielle Ripley Burgess. I'm a 2-time colon cancer survivor, and I've actually been surviving since I was 17 years old. Now, in 20 years of my survivorship journey, I've told my story a lot, and this has actually given me a big, deep passion for storytelling. Not only do I enjoy telling my story, but I enjoy telling your stories. I love telling survivor stories, caregivers, loved ones. What you guys have been through is so incredible, and when you're willing to open up and tell your story, it's pretty amazing. I can attest that the world right now is longing and yearning for stories like ours. People need hope, they need courage. And so when you guys open up and you're willing to go out there and tell people what you've been through, it will give people the relentless courage that they need to face any hard circumstance. So you guys probably know this, sharing your story is a key part of advocacy. It's opening up and telling people what you've been through. And I know for me, it's probably the same for you guys, but a lot of times when you do this, you start with your inner circle and then you kind of move outwards. So you've got your inner circle and then you start to tell your neighbors and people you work with. And then maybe you tell your community members, people at your gym or your church, or even your members of Congress. But one audience I don't want you to forget when it comes to telling your story is the media. Getting into the media is a great way to tell your story, and especially to people you aren't already connected with. I think you know this. Media reaches a lot of people. They have a big audience. And so when you're willing to go out there and tell your story in the media, you don't know who's going to be watching or listening. And so if one person goes and gets screened or talks about their family history, maybe learns something they didn't know, maybe they start paying attention to their body when they hear what happened to you, that's a huge victory. So when I say the media, what do I mean? Well, there's traditional media, there's things like TV, there's radio, there's newspapers, but then there's also non-traditional media, and that's sometimes more the digital media. So when I talk about that, it's podcasts and blogs, and there's all kinds of ways to get your story out there through these kinds of channels, and I guarantee that they're all looking for inspirational stories like yours. So how do you get media coverage? Where do you start? Well, this is gonna sound simple, but honestly, it's true. Let them know about you. Send an email, call the station, tweet at a reporter. Figure out how to get in front of members of the media. That's a really good place to start. And then if you're like, well, what do I say? Like, what do I tell them about me? Start with this. You're an advocate at Fight CRC, and you're involved in national advocacy efforts affecting policies that will impact survivors all over the country. Who knows, they might just pick that up. To get you media ready, I've called in a few of my friends. First, meet Dan. Dan is a local TV reporter to me. I'm from Kansas City, and I actually met Dan when he came out to my house to do a story about me surviving colon cancer after Chadwick Boseman passed away. And I asked him what his best tips are for people who are going to be featured on TV.
Hi, my name is Dan Cohen, reporter at 41 Action News in Kansas City. These are the 3 big tips. Number 1, approach it like it's a conversation. No interview is a major 60-minute expose unless you are interviewed by 60 Minutes. Go in and be calm and know that it's going to be a conversation one-on-one with someone who just wants to learn more about what you have to offer. Number 2, be yourself. Go in, be calm. People connect with people watching on television when they're accessible and they think, oh, this could be my neighbor. This could be someone that I want to go out to eat with. This could be someone that I want to go have a drink with. So be yourself. Number 3, don't feel like you have to give a perfectly polished answer. A lot of these interviews aren't live and they can edit out stumbles and mistakes. You don't have to give a perfect answer. This is something that is very near and dear to me and my family. My father's a gastroenterologist. My mother is a pediatrician and works with a lot of pediatric gastroenterologists. And I'm honored to be able to do anything I can to help you folks get out your message and be the best that you can when you're being interviewed by someone in the press. Thank you for your time, and I am with you in this fight.
Dan, thank you so much for doing this. Advocates, I hope you enjoyed meeting Dan. And also, I want you to remember that he's right. A lot of people in the media have personal connections to this cause. For Dan, his dad was a GI, and so he was naturally interested in what was happening with us. And so make that personal connection. If anybody in your local media has a personal connection to colon cancer that you know of, that will only help build that relationship. Next up, meet Toriano. Now, Toriano is a good friend of mine, and Toriano has a career in newspaper journalism. And he actually recently wrote a column about his screening experience and the importance of getting screened for colorectal cancer. And I asked him to give you guys some advice. If you're going to be interviewed for print, maybe a newspaper or blog, what would he say as far as what you should say, and also how do you connect with people like him?
Hello, advocates for colorectal cancer. My name is Toriano Porter. I am the member of the editorial board at the Kansas City Star. My official title is opinion journalist. I am a cancer screening advocate. I understand you guys need tips on how to get newspaper reporters to respond to your pitches. Well, the first thing you need to do is email and contact. The second thing you need to do is set up coffee. Coffee always works. The third thing you need to do is have an interesting and powerful story to share, and you keep working those personal relationships. Toriano Porter, opinion writer for the KC Star editorial board. Get screened, stay healthy. Thank you.
Toriano, thank you so much. We're going to get coffee soon. And I think Toriano brings a good point. It's that, remember, these are people of your local community. And so while sometimes they have some celebrity to them, they want to see a healthier area just like you do. And that's usually a really great way to connect with them. Last, meet Jacqueline. Jacqueline is the gastro girl, and she's got all kinds of cool media going on. She recently launched a podcast. And the reason I wanted Jacqueline to talk to us is because podcasts are really hot right now. And so sometimes if you can't get on traditional media outlets, maybe their schedule's booked up or you're not getting any response, look into a non-traditional outlet like a podcast and you might have more success with that. And so I asked her to give us some of her best advice for people that are going to be going onto podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Gollin, the founder of Gastro Girl. I host a weekly podcast, and we bring on a variety of patients, GI experts, and industry leaders to really give patients a well-rounded view of their digestive health and related topics. Maybe you're thinking about hosting a podcast, or maybe you're thinking about being on a podcast as a guest. I want to offer you some tips today that hopefully will help you. The first thing you need to know is to be prepared. Do your homework, practice a little bit. Make sure you know your guest and make sure you know your topic. That makes for great conversation. The second thing that's really important is make sure you're in a quiet room. That means put the dogs, the babies, the toys away, and make sure it's quiet. Anything that can ding, your phone, the computer, make sure all those notifications are off. That's going to ensure a really quiet and good experience. The equipment that you're using. You don't need to have fancy equipment. A set like I have, and this is not an expensive set. I think I got it for either just around $100. It doesn't have to be expensive. And probably one of the most important things is to be authentic, be yourself, and be positive and upbeat. So if you'd like to be a guest on the Gastro Girl podcast, please email us at podcast@gastrogirl.com. We're always looking for patient stories and patient journeys to feature. Thank you very much.
Jacqueline, thank you so much from one gastro girl to another. I think you rock. Okay, advocates, so hopefully my friends have helped you. Hopefully you're getting a little bit more comfortable with the media and the idea of getting out there. And to make you even more confident that you can totally do this, I want you to meet my friend Mara. Now, Mara was a Fight CRC ambassador a few years ago, and when we pitched her story, we tried to get it in some local media, and it had some great success. She's from the Miami area, and so some outlets told her story. But she also caught the attention of a really big national outlet, Univision. And so I've asked Mara to come in and tell you guys what that was like and how she got media ready.
Hi, I'm Mara Rodriguez. I'm from Miami, Florida, and I'm a stage 3B rectal cancer survivor. I am also a 2016-2017 Fight CRC ambassador. I was featured in a national Hispanic Latino morning show called Despierta America, which was on par or equivalent to, say, the Today Show or Good Morning America. I'm a student at heart and an introvert by nature, so Fight CRC really gave me the tools and resources and the courage to basically step out of my comfort zone and step on that type of stage. and tell my story. In order to prepare for my media interview, I had to understand my audience. And one of the resources Fight CRC set me up with was the Hispanic Latinos and Colorectal Cancer Companion Guide by the National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable. And that was a fantastic resource, which gave me information on the perception inside my community regarding colorectal cancer. And so I was very prepared. The media producer actually provided me a lot of insight as to what was going to happen. So I felt very comfortable for being an introvert going into it. I didn't have much fear. And I also studied the facts on colorectal cancer and the organization. I was representing Fight CRC, so I wanted to know my facts. I knew that I wanted to go into it with the message of spreading awareness, spreading education, the need for screening, and making colorectal cancer a national priority among the Latinos and Hispanic communities. In the end, it was fantastic. I think it was a great outreach to my community, and it was a wonderful experience. I really encourage all my fellow advocates to reach out to their media, their local media, and get their powerful stories out. I think it's a wonderful, beautiful gift for not only themselves, but for their families.
Mara, thank you so much. And I hope all the advocates, all of you guys out there know that you are just like Mara. You can totally do this. Now, if I'm being honest with you and vulnerable right here, I'm a PR person. This is what I do for a living, but I still get nervous when it comes to the media. I still get some shaky knees and I have to practice what I'm gonna say. And so I want you to know if you're still feeling like that, that's totally normal. And something that really helps me face some of these fears, two things really. One is I remember these reporters and people in the media are people, just like you and me. They're doing their jobs and they're looking for stories. And so that helps me go, okay, they're people too. And the second thing is that you just always have to keep trying. If one media outlet doesn't respond to your email or doesn't call you back, don't give up, try another one, because you have to remember your why. And you have to go back to remembering that the media, the purpose of being in the media is to share your story with a larger audience that you would not know otherwise. And so that truly can save a life, and that's why we do what we do. Okay, advocates, I hope you guys feel a little bit more media ready than maybe you did when you first hit play on this video. And here's 3 things I'm gonna leave you with. 1, if you want to remember all of the tips that my friends gave you, we've got a download for you, and that'll remind you what Dan, Toriano, and Jacqueline all told you as far as getting into the media. The second thing I want you to know is we have a great resource for you when it comes to facts and stats. A lot of times members of the media not only want your story, but they want to know some of the information and the data about it. So we've got that available for you for download. And the third thing I want you to know is that if this media stuff is actually really interesting to you, you're like, no, I really dig this. I want to tell my story more. I encourage you to consider applying to be a Fight CRC ambassador. In our ambassador program, we do a lot of media training and we help get you ready. We help train you a little bit more on how to share your story. We help you pitch your story. We help find local media outlets to put you in front of. So if this sounds like something you're really interested in, I hope you'll apply.